For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
The relationship between India and Vietnam has seen a leapfrogging in the last 4 years, despite 2 years of COVID-induced lockdowns and setbacks. And the man responsible for it is Ambassador Pham Sanh Chau, who is now departing after a very successful stint in New Delhi and going back home after doing his bit for the relationship between two civilizational countries. Delighted to welcome you on this program, Ambassador, and congratulations on your work for the last 4 years in New Delhi. When you look back, what are your highlights of the stint that you had in India?
Thank you very much indeed for having me on this platform. At the last minutes of my stay here, I have only 2 hours before I head to the international airport to go back to Vietnam, completing my nearly 4 years of duty. Looking back at the achievements and successes scored in our bilateral relations over the past 4 years, I'm extremely happy to see a lot of changes. The most important changes, I believe, is the change in the mindset of the people of Vietnam vis-a-vis India and her people. I believe that once you change the way you look at other country and other people, then you change behavior and you change everything subsequently. So changing the mindset, changing your thinking of others is the most important. Although our relations have been excellent, not only over the past 50 years since we established our diplomatic relations, this year we celebrate this 50th anniversary, and we have the relations between people and people spanning over 2,000 years, thanks to the fact that Buddhism came from India and spread to Vietnam, and Vietnam now is a predominantly Buddhist country. But if you look back, you still see that over the 2,000 years and 50 years, we have done a lot of things, but there is no radical change or a game changer like we see in the past 4 years.
Indeed. In fact, you rightly said that if mindsets change, so much can be achieved. And you have clearly managed to change the mindsets on both sides, really. Acceptance of Vietnam as a friend, as a dependable friend in the flux that the global scenario is going through, I think has been a main achievement, I would say, from our point of view, from the Indian point of view. If let's break it down into 2-3 different aspects. I think there has been very high level interactions between the leaders of India and Vietnam in the past 4 years. How do you see that now taking the momentum forward, and what do you think actually propelled that kind of exchange of high level visits?
I just give you one figure. All the top leaders of India have visited Vietnam. So since my arrival, the president came, then the vice president came, and the speaker came, and the minister of defense came. Just before I left, Prime Minister Modi came, and foreign minister came. And during my tenure here, there are a lot of virtual meet and talk between our leaders. Especially, we have the very important talk between Prime Minister Modi and our General Secretary of the party, Mr. Nguyễn Phú Trọng. So the frequency of high-ranking delegation has increased despite the fact that we have to lock down because of the COVID. So that is one of the very important factors that contribute and maintain a sustainable growth in our bilateral relations.
True. In fact, most people will not realize that all leaders, like you mentioned, from India, normally it doesn't happen, that Prime Minister, President, Vice President, Defense Minister, External Affairs Minister, everyone has been there. So have our armed forces senior leadership has visited. Your armed forces senior leadership has visited here. So if you look at the India-Vietnam defense relationship, let's look at that first and then get into the other aspects of the relationship. Where is that going?
I tell you that in the world today, everybody try to be friend with everybody. But if you, what is the parameter to say that this relationship is stronger than the other relationship? Then if you look at that, you have to bear in mind that only defense make a difference. And in the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and India, which Vietnam has only with more than 2 countries,
Yes.
then you see that this is a pillar of the 5 pillars. Because we have made so many achievements. I tell you, number 1, in terms of credit line. No one give us the credit line, and we don't receive any credit line from any other country,
Right.
countries other than India.
It's about 500 million.
500 million US dollar, we are finalizing that. The first 100 million US dollar we completed with the 12 high-speed boat, 5 producing in here, and 7 produced in Vietnam with Indian technology. That's number 1.
Yes.
Number 2, we also have exercise.
Joint exercises.
We call bilateral
Bilateral
exercise.
exercise,
Yes.
yes.
So first exercise with the Coast Guard. The first day I came here 4 years back. Then we sent the first ever ship to Coast Guard
Right.
to participate in the bilateral exercise. Then recently we have multilateral exercise in Milan.
In Vizag, in
Vizag.
Visakhapatnam. Yes.
And after several years, we participated as observers. We didn't send ship.
Right.
This time we send ship. So this is very important. And additions to that, you also have many ship call in Vietnam. And the frequency of ship call in Vietnam is very, very regular. And this reflects the keen interest of India in that part. But more importantly, this reflects the depth of our comprehensive strategic partnership.
Absolutely.
Or I put it another way is what we call convergence of strategic interests.
Absolutely.
But in addition to that, training in the 3 services is very important. We have the pilot training, we have tank driver plane training, we have even English training for officers.
Yes.
And quite recently, we have another exercise or training we call WinBacks.
Right.
That we send 45 officers, including all the engineers, soldiers, and the medical team to Chandigarh
yes.
to get a training from Indian friends.
Right.
Interestingly, those Indians engineer soldiers were before deployed in South Sudan, and they have experience.
Right.
So they train us
Yes.
on the field, and they share the experience that they had in Sudan, especially how to deal with the civilian people, to address the crisis. So many things they can share.
Right.
So you see that in terms of defense cooperation, it's ranging from exchange of visit. We have Bibit Bawan visited us. We have chief staff officers visited India. Minister visited India visited Vietnam. Ranging to training of staff, to the credit, to moving to production in defense sector, and then to training English. And we also get the a grant for the software development for the armed forces that the Minister of Defense just given to us. So it's very diverse and very rich.
Very rich.
And we also share information.
Exactly. So,
and at the forum, we have a very specific mechanism we call defense policy dialogue, which discuss all the matters related to defense.
And the policies are discussed between the 2 countries.
Certainly.
The other aspect that I notice is that you've been very successful in increasing tourism from India to Vietnam and hopefully from Vietnam to India. Give us some details of how you managed that and opened direct flights to Vietnam from India, which wasn't really ever even thought about, or maybe it was thought about, it was not implemented.
I tell you this story. When I came here to take my duty, I had to fly via Bangkok.
Right.
I stayed there 7 hours for the layover. The whole trip take the full day. And I didn't know why prior to my arrival, everybody have to go via Bangkok, Singapore, KL, and sometimes via Hong Kong and
Yes.
Guangzhou.
Correct.
And then I said that my first priority is to have a connectivity link, air link.
Absolutely.
And then I try very hard. Now I'm pleased to tell you that later I have a direct flight back to my country.
3 hours.
Just 3 hours,
Yes.
35 minutes.
35 minutes, yeah.
And it's most important that it's not only one airline. Indigo started first,
Right.
and now and then 3 years back Vietjet, and now Vietnam Airlines and other company also interested, like
Right.
Vistara, SpiceJet. They're interested to have flight
Right.
in Vietnam, and now Vietjet altogether alone opened 17
Wow.
flights.
Daily.
From 6 cities in India to 4 cities in Vietnam.
Wow.
You cannot imagine that one day you can fly from Delhi to Hanoi, to Da Nang, to Ho Chi Minh City, and Phu Quoc Island. But interestingly, other cities like Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, they all fly to Vietnam.
Wonderful.
At the moment, we have Mumbai and Delhi and Kolkata operational.
Excellent.
And 4 others will be added in at the end of the year.
Right.
And you see the number of people traveling, it's beyond imagination. Before I came here, we issue on total average 250 visa per day.
Okay.
Now some days we issue 6,000.
That
24
kind of
times.
jump, yes.
24 times.
My God.
With 6,000 visitors, you can imagine you need 30 planes.
Right.
You need 30 planes to go
Absolutely.
to Vietnam.
Yes.
And now India is the biggest visitors for Vietnam.
Wow.
In the context of China closing its border,
Yeah.
and in the context of what is happening now in Europe.
Couldn't have been better between. What about people coming from
And
Vietnam?
people come here is also the same amount. We don't have the figure. We don't have the figure from the
Doesn't matter.
immigration of
Yeah.
India.
Right.
But since the lifting of the COVID restriction, my embassy, my family keep receiving, and I have to go
Request.
so often to the airport.
Right.
Yes, to see the people, to pick the people, and I tell you one anecdote. There are many GZs, young generation.
Right.
They take the weekend. They fly on Saturday. They reach here in the evening, Saturday, and the full day they do Agra, and the same night on Sunday they come back.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Yes.
Yeah.
So they stay in Agra just one day.
Yes.
And they do the tour.
So that means, the awareness that you have created about India in Vietnam is paying off.
Yes, I must pay credit to the All Indian wedding. I successfully organized the first Indian fat wedding in March 2019.
Wow.
And since then, it changed completely.
So destination wedding.
Destination wedding.
I see.
At that time, I organized a three airplane going from Mumbai, Delhi to Phu Quoc, and I satisfied 22 requests from the family,
Really?
including having the cracker fire, the performance at the airport, a special lane for the passengers, a reduction at the hotel,
Right.
bringing the alcohol, bringing the 25 chef, facilitating the import of Indian ingredient, moving from Thailand to Vietnam.
Really?
So many things
Wow.
I satisfy that, and it's become the wedding.
Naturally.
Yes, now it's
Correct.
still it's everybody in Vietnam. When they talk about India, number one they understand Buddhism. Number
Yes.
two they practice yoga, and number three now they talk about wedding. So I'm very happy.
You have actually taken the diplomatic relationship to the people.
Oh yes, indeed. Because first, that relations between our two countries started with the people-to-people diplomacy,
Right.
and then gradually it formalized and becomes state-to-state relationship.
Absolutely.
And the people-to-people play a very important role. Even when we during prior our independence, respectively, people start trading already.
Correct.
And thanks to the trade, Buddhism came to Vietnam.
Yes.
And thanks to the trade, we have interference in terms of cultural linkages.
Absolutely.
During my tenure, a very good news is that we unearthed one monolithic stone of Linga
Oh.
Yes.
In Vietnam?
In Vietnam.
I see.
With the support of Indian archaeologists. And Foreign Minister Jason Kha tweeted it. And
Right.
everybody happy. Because you see in Vietnam, southern part of Vietnam, there are so many linkages with the Hindu civilization.
Right.
Yes. So we feel very proud of that because this is now part of Vietnam identity.
I'm so glad. But you also spoke about the comprehensive strategic partnership. I remember when the ASEAN leaders were the chief guest at the Republic Day parade. I think Vietnam played a major role in persuading your co-members of the ASEAN to come here. And also you went to J&K as one of the first envoys after Article 370 was abrogated. So how do you see India's role in the global affairs today, in the kind of situation that we are in?
Over the past 4 years, I saw, observed, and believe that the international role of India is increasing substantially because you adopt a very sovereign, independent, and bold policy.
Right.
You try to project yourself, and you did a strong Indian, an independent Indian which is sovereign, bound only by its own interest. An Indian does not take side, only takes side with international law, peace. And I think this is fantastic. I read the book The Indian Way of
Yes,
Dr. Jaishankar. I enjoyed very much. And one of the elements I like most from him is that sometimes he dared to take risks. And that is important.
That's right, yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
because the more you take risks, the more benefit you get.
Exactly.
Yes, and then this is, he's not only a professional diplomat, but he also a visionary person. So with the overall leadership by Prime Minister Modi, and especially when Prime Minister Modi, he is very well playing himself with all important leaders of the world.
True.
He have a personal contact, and thanks to the overall foreign policy of India, thanks to the personal role played by the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, then India is growing in its importance, in its prestige, in its influence on the world affairs.
True.
Coming back to the 2 points you mentioned,
Yes.
you know that in India, chief guest for one important event is very important.
Yes.
Because same like Vietnam,
Right.
the image is important.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to project a very important image.
Absolutely.
Because we are a people, we live on our spirituality
Yes.
and moral more than our materialistic.
True.
That's why, and I like what here. When I came here, some people tell me that the happiness is the luggage
Yes.
of the Indian
Yes,
family.
absolutely.
I believe in that.
True.
So at that time, when India requested all the 10 ASEAN leaders, President Pham Sanh Chau and Prime Minister to attend the Republic Day, Vietnam was the coordinator between
Right.
India and ASEAN.
Yes.
We understand the genuine request and the desire of
Yes.
India. That's why Vietnam tried to convince all the leaders of ASEAN to come. And we made it.
Yes.
And
You were
you
very
never
successful.
have had any 10 head of state or government
Never.
participating in a single event celebrating the Republic Day of
Absolutely. It was
India.
a significant milestone in
Yes,
India's
yes.
diplomatic history.
Yes. I think it is very important. That will be remembered forever.
Absolutely.
It means that India is very good and very nice to ASEAN, and ASEAN give importance to India.
True.
That's number one.
True.
The second question about my trip. At that time, I went together with other 9 ambassadors. It's the
Yes.
first batch.
Correct.
And it's eye-opening because for the first time, it's not easy for us to go there
Yes.
because we need a lot of clearance.
Right.
So we see there and we see what is happening there, and we see the normalcy coming back, and that's what we feel happy for the Indian. And as I often said that nowadays the world is traveling a lot of turbulences.
Yes.
Only in India we feel stable.
The stability is there.
Stability is
Very
there.
much, yes.
Yes, very much there. You don't have turbulence.
Yeah.
So it's a safe place for you to shelter yourself. That's why at some point,
Yes.
New Delhi becomes a magnetic place
Right.
to draw in so many international diplomats, foreign minister,
Correct.
prime ministers.
Yeah, they make a beeline to New Delhi.
Yes. So no single country in the world
Yes.
after COVID
Yes.
received so many requests to visit India.
True.
It means that you are someone.
Absolutely.
Yes, it means that you can influence the game of the world.
Yes.
So I congratulate India for that, and I feel very happy to be part of that historic moment.
Exactly. No, I was going to say that your contribution is also immense in that. One final question, and it's on the lighter side. I believe you have traveled to almost every corner of India, almost every state, all states. How has been your experience, and what do you sort of want to see, if anything is remaining in India?
When I came here, I read one saying that once you finish India, you can live easily in other part of the world.
That's true.
Yes, that is one of my Belgian colleagues told me.
Right.
Because she had started her career here in India.
Yes.
And the second saying is that if you split this world into two parts,
Mm-hmm.
India is one half and the other half is the rest of the world.
Really? Okay.
Yes. With that perception,
Right.
I said that I must travel in India.
Mm-hmm.
And traveling in India is the most enjoyable moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to cover 27 out of 20
Wow.
states and union territories.
Really?
I have been to places which a few people come, like Gangtok in Sikkim,
Yes.
or Spiti Valley
In Himachal Pradesh?
Himachal Pradesh,
Yes.
or the High East Village,
Yeah.
or down to Andaman Nicobar,
Excellent.
and to the tea plantation, not only in Darjeeling but also in
In
Kerala.
Assam? Yeah, in Kerala.
We also have a boating in not only backwaters in Kerala but also in the Tritiram. So it's north south. I am happy to go to Yodhya temple on the occasion of
Ayodhya,
Diwali.
yes.
Yes, to let
Must
the
be, I
foundation.
think, the only diplomat perhaps.
Yes. I'm the only invited by Chief Minister of UP.
Right.
And then I went to Amritsar.
Mm-hmm.
I try to mingle myself with different religions,
Right.
different ethnic people,
Correct.
and different part of the of India. I cover all the northeast states.
Yes.
The only state I have not been to is Arunachal Pradesh.
And that was by design or by accident?
No, by the point, but is that I could not, because it's you need air connectivity.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
There is no flight there.
no flight there.
directly.
You have to go to Guwahati and travel, or to another place to travel.
Yes.
Before I terminate my tenure here, I went to Hampi.
Oh, really?
After the dinner.
After we spoke.
Yes. I went to Hampi.
Oh,
and you
that's
know
nice.
that Hampi is going one day, coming back one day.
Oh, wow.
And have only
You
one day
found
there.
time to go there, yeah.
Yes, I said that I must visit Hampi,
Right.
because if you don't visit Hampi, you cannot understand fully the greatness of Hindu civilization.
Yeah.
Because Hampi is the former capital of Vijayanagara
Yes, the
kingdom.
kingdom, yeah,
And
yeah.
it occupies the half of subcontinent of India.
Yes.
So you see a lot of rest of
Excellent.
temple there.
Right.
And I found out it's on the 50 rupee notes. And I
That's
believe
true.
that from the 10 rupee note is Karnataka, I have been covered. The 20 is I have covered. The
Yes.
50 is Hampi. The 100 is the stupa,
Stupa,
Sanchi,
yes. Sarnath,
I
yeah,
cover,
Sarnath,
and the 100 is the step wall in Gujarat. So basically, I have covered all the site in the
currency notes you have covered.
currency
Yeah,
notes
exactly.
of India. I'm very pleased about that.
Ambassador, you are a true friend of India, and thank you very much for being that. And thank you for this opportunity to discuss and interact with you and have a lovely conversation.
Thank you. And please, I'm pleased that I complete this building.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's a new building, but lovely building. I must say
Yes.
congratulations for that.
It takes 20 years.
Yes.
And then I build it only 2 years.
2 years.
20 years for the formality.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm very
absolutely.
happy. This is my old baby.
I'm so glad.
Yes.
Please come back anytime you wish to. But we wish you all the good luck in your future endeavors and
Thank
your
you.
future career.
Thank
and
you.
look forward to meeting you again.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.